If you're feeling 20% or less, well, I'm here to help you feel 80% or more. I kind of get things downloaded from the universe, from spirit, and I try to put them in a format that helps you guys. I feel like that's my purpose. So we're going to start today with, we always talk about reinvention or becoming unrecognizable. But in this case, we're going to be looking at embodying things. And I'm sure that you've tried all manifestation things. You've listened to all of that advice. And if that has worked for you, you're probably not watching this. And now I'm not saying that this is a quick fix by any means, but what I have found is that when you are trying to embody or be a new version of you, it's quite limiting, but I've actually come up with a format that can help you. So I'm going to go through every single question that you ask yourself, and you establish for the new you and who you want to be, that version of you, well, what are they like? And these are all the questions I'm going to share with you today. I'm not going to leave anything out. This is going to be long, but it's really well worth watching until the end, because at the end I explain then what you do with this information. To me, it is no use just coming up with, oh, the new version of me would do this, this, and this. Yeah, okay, but how do you put that into practice? How do you make that actually happen without overwhelming yourself? So please stay to the end, because I explain how you do that. And even if that's not working for you, what you then do. So I'm just going to go through these step by step and relatively quickly. And at the end, I'll explain, you don't have to write all these down now, what habits for you just aren't working in your life. So we're going to go down one at a time through all the habits. So you are now going to be imagining if it was the new you and the one that you want to be compared to the you that you currently are, well, you're going to be recording the habits that the new version of you would have. You getting me? So in terms of habit, what comfort habits does the new you have? What avoidance habits does the new you have? When it comes to procrastination, what does the new you do? In terms of just not doing things, what does the new you do? In terms of overdoing things or not, what does the new you do? In terms of stress and the things that stress them and how they handle that, what does the new you do? In terms of dopamine fixes and habits that you would have for dopamine, what does the new you do? Then the next one is in terms of repetitive thoughts. So you might be someone who's had constant repetitive thoughts that are kind of like not meaning to be, but they might be put down thoughts that you have in your own head. They might be, oh, don't be so stupid. Oh my God, you're so fat. Or what'd you say that for? So I want you to write down 5 repetitive thoughts that the new you has instead of what your old self does. 5 new repetitive thoughts instead of the old repetitive thoughts. Then the next one is the new you. How do they connect? How do they connect with colleagues? How do they connect with friends in their relationships with that special person? How do they connect with their family members? How do they connect with community? How do they connect with customers? How do they connect with new people that they come across? The next one is your environment, and that is basically where you're living. So your environment, the new you, what is your environment like? What's your home like? What's the main living at where you mainly spend time, if that's your bedroom? What is that like, your environment? How is that set up for you? What about your living spaces? How about your kitchen, your bathroom, your laundry? All of these areas of your house, your home office if you have one. Your outdoor space, but also your transport. That might be your car, that might be how it is that you get to work. All of these things are environmental. Then moving on, your job. So all the aspects of your job. What are your work hours like in your job? What's your efficiency like? What's your enjoyment like in your job, being the new you? In terms of work structure, how does that work for you, being the new you? What's your work ethic like? How effective are you at work? What is your presence like when you are at work? And your work relationships, what are they like? I would rather you get a sense of what you feel that version of you is like, rather than what you think that version of you is like. It's so much more helpful to feel and sense what is right for you as that version of you, rather than think about it, because what is going to be right for you it feels in your body right for you, okay, rather than what you think. The next one is being in the moment, before work, during work, after work, and on weekends. Them being in the moment, that version of you, well, what are they like? Describe it in detail. What is that like, them being in the moment? In terms of finance, what's their income like? What's their savings like? When they're trying to get down debts, what does that look like for the new version of you? The new version of you might not have any debt. Well, that's great. But if you've got debt now, the version of you that takes debt down, well, what are they like? How do they do that? In terms of giving, how are they with the new version of you? How do you spend in terms of bills and leisure? The new you, how do they present in those realms? The next one is in terms of working towards your goals. So I want you to think of the new you working towards 3 goals of yours, and the new you, in terms of each of their goals, well, what do they do in terms of time per week? How much time do they spend on working on each type of goal? How often do they do it? What's the quality of what they do? And the practicality of what they do. So it's worth spending some time thinking about that. You might have a goal, but you only work on that 20 minutes a week, and that's all that's needed, and that's okay. So this is again when I talk about sensing what's right for you rather than thinking what is right for you. Sensing is more but getting in touch with that version of you, which is more important than thinking, because thinking is projecting. Thinking tries to put something on top of something which isn't really a fit. The next one is spending time with others. The new you, who do you spend time with? How often? For how long? What are the sorts of things you do, and what quality time do you spend together? So I'd suggest you choose 3 of those. The next one is signs. What signs does the new you pay attention to when things are right and things are going well and things are on track? And what do they do? And then what signs do they pay attention to when things are wrong, that they're not right? And then what do they do? So the new you, it's worth paying attention to. How do they pivot at those moments? What does the new you actually do? The next one is in terms of sleep and actual physical rest. So in terms of your sleep and rest, during your weekdays, when do you go to sleep? When do you go to bed? When do you wake up during your working week? Well, when are those times when you go to bed and wake up on the weekends? Obviously your weekends might not be Saturday, Sunday, you could be a shift worker, who knows? So it might be more about the regularity of the sleep that you have, or the hours of sleep you have. What naps do you have? The next question is, how do you actually emotionally rest during your work week? What are the things that you do, the new you do, in terms of resting, like proper actual emotional rest, in terms of their emotional well-being rest? What do they do during the working week, and what do they do on weekends? And the next one is exercise. Yes, we've all got to come up with plans for exercise, or do we? Don't we? And the thing is, the new you, this is where it's really important to tap in and sense that version of you, what actual volume of exercise and what is it that they're doing for exercise. And pay close attention to sensing your answers rather than projecting again. So sensing, like for me, for example, when I do that and I sense, like I used to be, I bodybuilt for 28 years and I competed and did the whole thing, and you might look at me now and go, well, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. I passed out at work and none of the judges even looked at me after killing myself for a year and starving to death. That's what happened to me. So now that my body has allowed me to exercise, now my body basically wants me to do 3 short gym sessions a week, and they're only a short circuit, which is 20 minutes at a time. That is it. 3 jogs on the treadie, and that's only for 10 minutes with an uphill sprint at the end, and then 2 long walks a week. That is it. That is all my body wants me to do and the new version of me wants to do. It's not epic quantities of exercise like I used to do. So for you, what exercise does the new you want you to do, with how often and for how long and with what intensity? So make sure you're sensing your answers, not projecting your answers, not just going, oh, well, I do the 12-week challenge. Well, do you? Ask your inner self, is that the new you? Is that what you actually do? Then the next one is your leisure and your free time. So in your free time, what does your free time look like? How long is that? What are your leisure habits? The next one is, what is your overall general mood most of the time? Is your general mood happy and content and really like chilled? Or is your general mood tense or anxious or worried? Overall, what is your general mood as the new you? Do things bother you? Do things not bother you? The next one is, in terms of your hair and your makeup, well, if you're a girl. Well, if you're a guy, it doesn't really matter. It's about your style and how it is that you present in terms of your physical, your skin, your appearance, your face, your hair. So how do you present at work? How do you present at home? How do you present in public? How do you present when you're going out with friends? How do you present when you're hanging out with in terms of your special person, your relationship? How do you present when you're exercising? So that's all that physical stuff. Like, do you have a fake tan all the time? Do you go and sunbake? Do you moisturize? Do you do the full face of makeup? Don't you? Do you wear no makeup? Do you just put on a bit of mascara? So the next one is, how do you dress and present at work, with friends, in your leisure time, when you're doing your activities, whatever activities they are, when you're sleeping, and when you're exercising, and any other environments that you find yourself typically in. Yes, this is laborious, but let's face it, they always talk about embodying and creating the new you, but seriously, these are in-depth sections of your life that you really need to delve into in order to head in the direction that you feel that you want to go. The next thing is food. And listen, I don't want you to record anything to do with like dieting necessarily, unless you sense that version of you needs to clean up their diet. But I really would suggest that you don't answer with a diet per se, unless you sense that that's the right thing for you. So in terms of your food, what do you typically eat for breakfast? What range of foods do you typically go between for breakfast? For morning tea, for lunch, for afternoon tea, for dinner, for after dinner, when you have a snack. Are there any foods that you completely avoid? Are there any foods that you always have? This is really important because, again, this is more important out of all of the ones that you sense your answers to this, rather than projecting and thinking, oh, well, I just do this diet or that diet. No, what do you sense is right for you, for that version of you? Very important. Also, in terms of what do you drink? What things do you never have? What do you never eat? What do you never drink? Very important to add all those up together. The next one is your health markers. So I want you to pick 5 health markers for the new you. Those health markers could be anything. They could be about your flexibility. They could be about your strength. They could be about your fitness, to be able to walk upstairs and not feel puffed. It might be that your knee's not sore anymore, or that your core is strong now and you are able to sit with poise. Whatever your health markers are, I'd pick 5 of them, but really sense the new version of you. What is it that they feel in terms of those health markers? The next one is your projects, the projects that you're working on. What do you do? And I'd pick, 1 to 3. So it depends how many projects you're working on, typically, in order to move your life forward in whatever directions that you want. So what actions do you take? When do you take them? And how often? And how do you feel while you're doing it with the new version of you? Then the next one is scenarios, and we all know like scenarios where you never feel good enough, or you never feel like you say the right thing, or you never speak up for yourself. I want you to pick anywhere between 3 and 5 scenarios that you would typically find yourself in, and what does the new you do in those scenarios instead? Do they speak up instead? Do they sit back and just let it happen? What do they do? What does the new you do in those scenarios? Do they just sit there and be really calm and wait to speak? Do they seem really interested in the other people instead? So this is your sense. What do you sense is right for you? And then the other thing is, in those scenarios or in those other habits when you would normally do the opposite of what the new you wants to do, how do you reward yourself if you then make a choice in the right direction rather than the wrong direction? Is there something that you give yourself in order to go, yay, I did that? Now, as I said, it was a good idea to watch to the end because, okay, so those are all like your embodiment areas of the new you. However, great, you now know the new you, but getting to be the new you is a whole other matter. So once you have all your answers to those, and yes, it is an epic event to actually come up with all your answers to those, then all you do is look down your list at the sorts of things that you need to change. And I would pick anywhere between 10 and 20, but no more than that at this stage. Then this is what I have done, and I have found this really useful because they talk about you being the person that has that thing. And you go, well, great, and well, how do I do that? Oh, well, you have to visualize and manifest. I don't think so. This is what you do. You're picking anywhere between 10 and 20, not the whole lot. There might be 50 things you've got to change, but you're only going to pick between 10 and 20. Then you just jot down what you do instead, what it is that you're changing, something that is different. And so, like here is mine. And then every night, and I've put them on cards. So I have difficulty leaving work on time. I've always been a workaholic. And so now when it gets to the time where I'm supposed to leave, I'm to say, this year I'm looking after myself better and I'm leaving earlier. That's the scenario thing that I'm changing. Another one is I go to bed at 8:45 p.m. weeknights and 9:45 p.m. on weekends. So you come up with, and I've written cards. And so in your cards, I've got 10 to 20 cards. And then every night, I sit there and I review my cards into 2 piles. Pile 1 is ones that I'm in line with now, and pile 2 is ones I need to improve on. And every night I just go through my cards, and the sooner that I keep piling up in the cards that I'm sticking to and it's going well at, well then, and the less cards, and I've only got 3 recently that I haven't been more in tune with and doing regularly, well, sooner or later, those ones stick. You get rid of those and you do another 10 to 20 out of your original list of things that you need to change. And then over time, gradually, you are embodying the new you. It's not rocket science. That's to me, and this is what we're focusing on. We're not focusing on getting the thing that we want. We are focusing on being the person that we want to be instead. So here's what happens though if you do find yourself not either being able to stick to those 10 to 20 things, or they just don't feel good. They don't feel good in your body. You just can't assimilate them. So if that is you, watch this video because this one actually explains how you rewrite your programming so that those things do actually feel good to you instead. Don't worry, I'm not going to collect your emails. I really hate that. You're not going to get any spam from me. But all of the questions that I have gone through in this video are literally in the link below. Just go to it. It's for free. Go straight to, you can just print them and then you can answer your own questions based on all the questions that are here, and you just go right ahead and follow the bouncing ball. Yes, I will never collect your email. I will never collect your details. This is, as I said, this is from the universe through me. I put them in a way that's going to help you and then give it out to you. So please, if you found this helpful or you think it might help someone else, please share it. Share it with someone that you feel that could really find this a handy tool for them, because you know that they're struggling with becoming the person that they want to be, or that they're really struggling to go in a direction that they want.